We were supposed to go live a little early because I just found out that email, and it's embedded in the email to everybody where we're at. So, but nobody looks at
Gotcha.
their email right away. So now we'll be live in their email with the widget. We're live, guys. Who are we?
Nice.
Wow, we're live in emails. We're Langy, and we're drinking.
It's happy hour. What are you drinking? Coffee?
Well, it's not regular coffee. This is New England coffee. This is Boston special. Kahlua, Bailey's, probably some
Oh.
brandy. Whoa, you got a haircut for the occasion, Scott Bossman?
No, no haircut.
You shaved? What did he do, Mark?
I
Something's different.
shaved.
He shaved. He cleaned up nice.
I
But
cleaned up the
he
hat.
was saying like he needs a haircut like desperately. I'm like, not really, not
That's so
really.
nice of you guys.
Man of Tomorrow says hello. Hi, Man of Tomorrow. So in case people don't know who we are, I'm gonna just say I'm Mark Podolsky, the Land Geek with thelandgeek.com. I'm joined with my fellow Land Geeks, Scott, Dude Buddy, the Nightcap OG Bossman, and Mike, the Zen Master, Zano. Breathe in the mailing, breathe in the marketing. Fellas, what do we do? Who are we?
Well,
Take it
well,
away, Zano.
yeah. We invest in Raw Landmark, and we do it in such a way that we don't spend all our time doing it. We actually teach people how to build systems so they can actually become the CEO of their own business, where they can have a one-time transaction with multiple recurring payments, month to month to month. And we do it in a very affordable way, Mark. I think that's something that sometimes we should put back out there. It's like average purchase price, $1,500, $1,000, $2,000. That's micro, right? When it comes to typical real estate, but we can sell them on low monthly payments, $100, $200, get our money back within a year, redeploy that money, and what Mark we always say, rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Absolutely. So, what's interesting is that we always assume that everybody knows, like, you guys are so popular now with Nightcap and being on the Roundtable podcasts. Like, it would be, I think, valuable for people just to hear your origin stories in a condensed version. Scott
That's so
Bossman, do
superheroish.
you want
That's
to
so
start?
superheroish. Origin, Scott Bosworth, Origin, go! I
By
love
the
it.
way, just if Mimi Schmidt's on, cheers to Mimi. I'm tapping my inner Mimi with a little Chardonnay. This is my wife's wine. So
Nice.
yeah,
It's all good.
it's not the most masculine of happy hours for me.
All right, you want my origin story? Okay, well, let's see. I'm a physical therapist. I had been a physical therapist for probably 16, 17 years and married with four boys. And I just kind of woke up one day and realized I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. It was hard working 50 hours a week and trading my time for money and feeling like I didn't have any time for my family, time for myself, feeling like I wasn't financially secure. So I went on kind of a journey of self discovery, trying to figure out what else I wanted to do because I knew I needed to bring in some passive income into my life. So I started reading every Rich Dad Poor Dad book there was. I was a Dave Ramsey guy for a while. And then I started listening to podcasts when podcasts started getting very popular. And I was listening to Get Rich Education with Keith Weinhold and was a faithful listener, listened to every single episode until episode 21 when it got to land investing. And I thought, wow, that sounds really boring. I'm going to skip it. And I skipped it for weeks. And then for some reason, I had the inclination to go back and listen to it. And I'm forever glad I did because I heard this guy, Mark Podolsky, the land geek, explain to me in simple terms what he did to bring passive income into his life. And I thought this makes so much sense. There are no tenants, termites, toilets, rehabs, rodents, renovations. There are no land emergencies. And I thought it sounded absolutely amazing. So I took the chance and I got online that night. I think it was that same mark. I got online and I ordered the passive income launch kit or the blueprint maybe at the time. And then like the next day or two, I got the investor toolkit and I just put into practice what you teach. And within just 2 years of chipping away at this as a side hustle, I replaced my income as a physical therapist.
Wow. So what? I mean, really, when you say I replaced my income as a physical therapist, how does life sort of change for you when you don't have to work? I know you love physical therapy, but what is the actual, you know, existential difference between where you began and where you are now, where you're like, I don't know if I'm living the way I want to live.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I don't know if you guys have ever felt just a constant sense of unease or just not feeling secure, whether it be financially or maybe even with relationships. I didn't have time to stop and breathe and live life in the present. So 2 years later, when I hit my anniversary, and it was in July, and I remember going to the Facebook group, telling everybody I'd met that goal. It didn't really sink in until I started getting some feedback from people. And the fact that I had done it in 2 years and gotten to the point where, listen, I'm bringing in just as much now. And that didn't even count cash sales, because we were doing, we do a couple cash sales every month. I'm doing just as much now, working, 15 hours a week in my land business as I do as a physical therapist for 50 hours a week. And to me, it just brought a sense of calm, it brought a sense of accomplishment, and just kind of inner peace in the fact that I was more financially secure and had gained more time freedom. And then it made me feel less pressure at my workplace, actually. I got better. The last couple of years I worked, I think I was better than ever because I was just more at ease. I don't know. It kind of clarified my purpose, I think, as a physical therapist, because I wasn't worried about all this other stuff. So that's what it did for me.
That's amazing. Zen Master, what's your thoughts?
I think that's amazing. I always love hearing that story. He's totally inspiration. I think that's great about our group. There's a core collective group of us, and each one of us has stories that can re-inspire each other, and that's what's great about community. And I'll tell you what's great about community right now, Mark, is that I was talking to Laura, my wife, and it's like, everything in life makes sense when you're around people, weddings, gatherings. Now we're all kind of at home, right? We're all missing that community element. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be going stir crazy. I mean, we're here, we're connecting on here. We have people inside the community that are constantly, giving us feedback. It's so important, maybe more important than ever right now, to have such a supportive and just incredible community of people.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're having happy hour with us right now, please leave a comment and let us know you're watching and enjoying, and cheers to you, because it's it is a tough week in quarantine, and let us know how you're doing as well. Hopefully everyone's doing okay.
Yeah, we're hanging in there. Mark, so I found you. I was $40,000 in debt, and a close friend of mine. I grew up with Jeff Axton. I went to the fire department 20 plus years. He was a student of yours. He's like, Mike, try this lane investing. And I'm like, seriously, like, if I didn't go over to my friend's house, who I've known my whole life, and see him executing on what you're showing him, I'd be like, this guy's another internet guru. Who is this guy? Look at him, the land geek. I would have been very skeptical, right? But he's like, Mike, you got to meet this guy. You got to come out to. So I went out to Arizona. And for all you watching, I'm telling you, Mark's the guy that you see here. I mean, I know I rag on you here and there, Mark, but you really are authentic. You're like, it's really, when I first met you, remember I met you in the hall with the boot camp. I said, this is it. I know that this is going to change my life. And I finally have a path. And we paid off that debt in 1 year. And I can't tell you, to have that pressure lifted off and just all that stress and the constant calls from bill collectors and all of that, but to be able to remove that and then turn around. I wanted to get married. We weren't married at the time, so I flipped some wholesale land. I think it was like 4 or 5 months, raised like $50,000. And I always joke the wedding didn't cost $50,000, but it was just these 2 wins right in a row: paying off the debt, raising enough money to go and have a beautiful wedding and honeymoon, and take my son and his fiance on the honeymoon with us, because it was just incredible. I never sought out, Mark. I think I told you this, to be a land investor. I was paying off debt. This aside, it snuck up on me, this whole success. I know, professional land investor. Yeah, I really am. And it took a while for that to sink in, right? Because this was just a side hustle, making some cash, paying off some bills. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I'm a land investor. I'm the CEO of my own company. My wife and I run this together. It has done so much for us, and the impact that it's had on our lives, and the way that we can help out our children and our parents. I'm forever grateful, and especially in the time that we're in right now, where people are really out there, and they're looking for work and jobs are getting cut, and yet we're doing the same thing we've always done right along. And arguably, it's getting more busy. It's getting busier. We have a commodity. And Mark and I, we're talking right today. Like, this is something that people are going to start seeking out more and more. Our properties are far away from everybody else, and they're affordable. It's an asset that's not like the stock market and that craziness that can happen. So I'm just very blessed, Mark, to be part of it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. It was amazing. It's amazing to be here, and I just continually surround myself with all of you guys so I can grow more.
No, you guys are both so inspirational and inspiring to me. Like, there's times where I'm just jealous of both of you and your lifestyle. Like, I'll box Zano. He's like, Mark, I'm at the gym with Laura and I'm taking a steam and I'm gonna shave. Like, this country club lifestyle. And like yesterday I'm boxing Boston. He's like, what do you want? I'm on the Peloton. Like, now I feel guilty. I'm not on the Peloton, but it's great. And to really solve both of those big issues in life, your money issue and your time issue, it's just magical. It really is. Just a few shout outs. Peter Zeros, our one-on-one coaching client. Hello, Mr. Walt, Casey Kaler, cheers. Hi, Justine Graff, Michael Ring. What's up, Michael? Hello, guys, cheers. Racine Sugai in Hawaii. She says, hello, I wish I was day drinking. Gotta update my Airtable. She's working. I love it. She's working on a Friday. That's good. Jason Mendoza, make it another great day. Carlos is on. Scott Shaved. He says, you got this. And Joe Lucas, good afternoon, gentlemen. Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know how you're doing. So we wanted to just kind of talk about the state of affairs in our own land investing business currently, and just kind of update everybody. Like, Scott Bossman, how was your week?
I had a good week. It's crazy, but we've had the best 3 weeks of the year, these last 3 weeks. And it just seems to be consistent. The leads are consistent. I had a deal today, $99 down, $99 a month for 72 months. $99, it might not sound like a lot, but listen, when you buy that property for $1,500 and you're going to have your money out in the first year, and after that, it's profit. And people realize too that after you've done this for a while, that just stacks on top of many other notes that you have. So it just it's amazing, right? I mean, I just gave myself a raise for the year today, and that's the way I look at it. And we've had three deals this week, and it's great. It's been going well.
Yeah, no, it's great. How about you, Mike? How's your week? COVID-19 affecting the Zen Masters business yet?
I feel like it's spiking interest. We do a lot of work out in Texas and whatnot, these areas that are big and away from people, and there's a lot of interest. My son, I mentioned on Nightcap, he's making sales. I think he's budding on one right now, so it'd be great if he closed it before we were done here. That would be pretty cool. But it's truly there's a lot of interest in what we have to offer, and it's at an affordable price. Also on the buy side, we've came to an agreement on a bulk purchase today, and it's a really great price. So I know we're going to make a lot of money on that, and it's business as usual, really. It's kind of I can't say it's odd because it's just the way it is. It's what we do, right? We stay at home and we work our land business. We have our team take care of the details, and we're constantly going out there looking for new deals. And this is business as usual. I mean, the only thing that's really different is that not much community involvement around, in terms of going outside. But the business is thriving, and I'm very grateful for it. And I don't see a slowdown right now. I think it's going to increase. I really do.
I agree. I think.
Yeah. Look for something. The next time this comes around, they're going to be like, man, I could have had that property for $100 a month or $200 a month, where I could have just spent a month out there in my RV. Or I truly think that if anybody out there is listening to this and you're thinking, geez, did I miss the bubble in investing? No, get in now, because this is really going to heat up, I believe.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. We sold 7 properties last week. We've got 6 sold this week. Week's not over yet. And
Right.
from an enterprise value perspective, we've done over 150,000 in March. So, and COVID-19 really hit the economy, about a month ago, right? Is that when or is it a few weeks
Yep.
ago? So,
Well,
when the market is as volatile as it is, there is a flight to safety, and one of those safe assets is real assets, which is raw land, and it's just historically been that way. And yeah, we are seeing a spike. I do feel a little guilty considering a lot of the pain and uncertainty out there in other industries, that we are doing well in the midst of all this, that our lifestyle is not affected at all because, from day one, we've been 100% virtual. We're used to working from home. We're used to being completely virtual. Like, we know how to do that. So there is a little survivor's guilt, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
I think, Mark, that, coupled with that survivor's guilt is another thing that is like, because we have put ourselves in a good spot, we are able to help other people, our family members, close friends, and, so there is that, right? There's so, and like, where's that kind of idea, like we feel a little guilty, but also I think it's coupled with the fact that, just like if you developed inner strength or some sort of positive mindset that you could always have available when things go crazy, and you could be that rock for your family to help. I think it's similar. Like, we put ourselves in a really good spot, and I think that we can be beacons of kind of hope for family members who are feeling despair, but yet since we're business as usual, maybe we can be a little bit of a refuge for them. And so I think it's we can expand the feeling we have of being safe in this environment and help others. So yes, there is that survivor guilt. I agree with you, but also I feel like we're well situated just to help. And bring some positive news to this horrible situation.
Yeah. I've got a tough question for Scott Bossman, but before I do, I just want to say, hey guys, Jason Hoffman, cheers to another great day. What's up, Jason? Dr. Lance Ellis, good to see Zano back from the cruise.
Oh, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was no cruise, Mark. It was we were cruiseless, but we did vacation and we made it back to the States. Although we had to take a long drive from, I don't know if it was Minnesota, Michigan. I have no idea. I was driving by. Scott Boss was like, "You're within a couple hours of me," and I know we can't stop. We got this 2-car party and we're flying. But we're back.
Yeah. Andrew Mino says hello, and he said he can't wait to build his inventory. Run Club says, "Hey guys, you know who Run Clubs is? It's Doug Hoyer in Seattle. What's up, Doug?
Nice.
Good to see you, man."
Mark, did you see his announcement in the Facebook group? We should give him a little shout out. Did you see his announcement today?
No, I haven't seen it.
So Doug is a notary in Washington, and Washington is temporarily allowing Washington notaries to do mobile to do remote notarization. So Doug Hoyer, if he's low on notarizations, let's hit him up. Like, everybody, call Doug Hoyer if you need a notarization. There you go.
Beautiful.
Right. All right. Yeah. Awesome. So, Mike Malera, how many active listings do you have to average to have 3 sales a week?
How many active listings do you?
Yeah. Hi, Mike.
Have?
To average 3 sales a week.
So I just looked because I saw that question, so I was cheating. But we have about 20 properties on our website right now listed. I have about another 5 or 6 I need to get up there. But yeah, we're marketing those 20 properties. So now I think what Mike needs to understand though is that you could have 5 sales in a week. You could have 7 sales in a week. You have 3 sales in a week. The sales wax and wane a little bit. But I think, Eric Peterson says this a lot too. It seems to there's kind of a sweet spot, I think, with selling. It seems like you sell more property when you have like 20 or so in inventory. People can go to your website and they can shop, or you can point them in the right direction if a particular property isn't good for them. I had one guy today even say, do you have a corner lot? I'm like, yeah, actually. So send them over to the corner lot. Take a peek at that one. So yeah, that's I don't know what you think, Zano, but that's kind of what we're looking at.
Answer. I think it also, to kind of parlay on that, Mark, we always talk about specializing, and one of the things that we had a podcast, remember the roundtable, what would everybody, and I think all of us said we would have focused on more than one area rather than multiple areas in the beginning. We would have, rather than go out and get this kind of ADD and go from county to county to county. So, we're primarily working in one county. So with generic ads out there, I'm able to sell a lot of property, right? So I think there's an advantage to that. So we have a lot of ads out there, yet even if one of our properties in inventory sells, that ad will relate to another property. So it works well that way. I think when you have that specialization, like I like what Tate says, you get surgical, right? You really dig into one area in a county, and when you go where we go, and if you don't know where we go, get the toolkit or go into flight school and learn where we go, because there's a ton of property there. You don't have to float around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so I got to give Bossman the tough question. But Mike, you're still going to have to answer it too. But
let him go first. That's good. I like what he thought.
So, okay, Scott, I mean, let's just look at the macro economy, okay? And, whether it's record numbers of people filing for unemployment. We're looking at like 6 million or something, it's a really big number. Now, it's not obviously going to stay that way, but temporarily we have a lot of people not getting paid or just filing unemployment and those types of things. My question to you is, we keep saying this is a good time to start your land investing business. Is there a saturation point where we have too many people that might be looking at this as a viable alternative, either as a side hustle or even just starting their own business, and they want to be that pig that's building their house full of bricks? Do you think the land investing niche could become saturated?
So I used to think so when I first started. I had this kind of scarcity mindset, which you talk a lot about, Mark. And it's because I just did not realize, I could not fathom how big this market was. And the truth of the matter is, the land market is so vast that we're working in a very small slice of a very large pie. And how many, do you think maybe a couple thousand people are doing this in the United States? Maybe.
Fewer.
I mean, fewer. I think maybe a third of those people are doing it at a high level. But I think a lot of people dabble in it. I think this is a great side hustle in that regard, because you can still love your job. We have workaholics in this community. They love their job, right? But they want a little something on the side. They want a side hustle. They want to bring in a little bit more income on the side. So I think a lot of people dabble in this. When you look at, on a grand scale, how many people are doing this seriously in the United States, it's very, very few. And then you look at how many millions and millions. How Mark, it's listed on like taxsalelist.com or something, right? Like how many millions of.
There's multiple millions of properties just that are tax delinquent. Now, when you look at 3,007 U.S. counties, there's billions of acres available. And when you combine that with no real big money, no private equity groups, no hedge funds in our niche, you do have this massive market that you're not even able to sort of visualize in a weird way. And literally nobody doing it. When you look at the size of the market.
Scott Todd put it in perspective for us too recently. I think it was on our Q&A. That's a cool thing too. We have a lot of Q&A sessions like during the month, so look for those in the Facebook events because we publish them in there. But Scott Todd got on the call and he's like, guys, everybody, you got to realize that my main county where I work, it's like 25 million square miles of vacant land or something, and he's working in like 50,000 square miles of that county.
Right.
And look at what he's done. So the land market is absolutely massive. That's why I always joke about this, Mark. At my first boot camp, you gave us a Land Geek T-shirt, and I was always afraid to wear it anywhere. I hated wearing it out in the community because I'm like, no, somebody's going to buy my land. Like, I don't want to let anybody know about this because I had that scarcity mindset. But now I wear it everywhere. People just look at it funny. Um, but now I have the abundant mindset that there is enough land for everybody to go around, and it's just an absolutely massive market.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Mike Miller has a really good question. He's like, well, what stops a private equity firm or hedge fund from entering this market? Like, why aren't they in it? Do you guys know why? I know the answer because I used to work with them.
We'd love to hear your answer.
No way. Zenmaster, what?
But I think
look, I'm not putting Bossman on the spot and then be like, okay, the Zenmaster gets a pass. Mike Zano, why don't private equity groups and hedge funds go into our market?
Well,
what's your best guess?
I think the dollar amounts that we buy at. I mean, look at. I don't think it attracts them, honestly. I think the reason if you look at the reason why our market exists in the first place, and I often say this about people. First of all, just to end with what Scott was talking about, I think if you're looking for a reason not to take action, you can find it. If you think, wow, this thing is saturated, you can make all those excuses to prohibit you from taking action. But guess what? There's realtors today that are going to get jobs in your community, and they're going to crush it because they have the mindset of abundance, and they're going to put the time in. So that, to me, is just one of those things that people look at as an excuse not to take action. And I'm not trying to crank on anybody, Mark. I'm just saying that we all have these things inside of our heads, these fears, uncertainties, and doubts like, oh, there's already enough people doing it. No, there's an opportunity here. And if you really want it, you just got to come take it. And you got to be consistent, and you'll get it. So, but as far as these hedge funds and private equity and all that, I mean, look at we dance in an area that is really below. Like, why don't realtors bother us? Because realtors don't get a ton of commission on a $5,000 land sale. So if somebody has this property that they own and they're looking to sell it, they're kind of like stuck with it, right? They may have inherited it or whatnot. So they can't. Realtors aren't interested. We come along with this offer, yeah, below market value, but it's quick cash. They don't have to do anything. So boom, that's great. On the right side, the sell side, someone wants to go and get a piece of this property. Well, they're not going to go to their bank and say, hey, could I have $5,000 for a piece of vacant land in Texas or New Mexico? It's just not, and they may have marginal credit, no credit. We solve that problem. We don't care about your credit. We're going to finance you, and we'll do it in a way that's very affordable. So we're in this very small little range, So I think that, it's just not enough money, I would say, to attract them. I've thought that too, Mark. My guess, and I'm only saying because
Mike, you're right.
There's just not enough money for them to.
You can't. Okay, so like Mike Malera, I'm gonna write you a check tomorrow for $100 million. Okay, so to Mike Malera, $100 million. Go get me a return. Go deploy it in our land investing niche. You wouldn't be able to deploy it fast enough, and then I'd be calling you up the next quarter and be like, "What's my return? What's my yield?" You'd be like, well, I bought 20 properties. I got 10,000 deployed of 100 million, Mike.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just too much money. It's too much money into our niche. They can't deploy it fast enough. But Mike's like, deal. Give me the 100 million. So I always say this like at boot camp. If you want to be a billionaire, this is not the niche to be in. I would say though, this is a nice gateway drug to doing bigger deals. If you want to go into multifamily, you want to be a billionaire and you want to deploy $1 billion in commercial properties. This is a great way to get started to do it. Like I started with $3,000. How much do you guys start with?
I started with, so I got the toolkit, and I probably started with $2,000 that I had in savings. I got the toolkit. I was motivated to change my life. I was spending 15, 20 hours a week on that thing. I bought my first property in 6 weeks for $700. And I sold it a couple of weeks later for $2,800. So $2,000. I mean, but people can start with even less. And that's the beauty of this business is you don't need $50,000, $100,000 for a down payment on a multifamily unit or a franchise fee or whatever. couple $100, couple $1,000, you can start making your money work for you.
Yeah, Scott Todd makes the argument having too much capital is actually a disadvantage when you get started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
You can buy land cheaper than, I think people don't realize how cheap you can buy land. I've literally bought hundreds of properties for around $100 a piece. Like literally, like I think sometimes people miss that point, and that sounds ridiculous, right? Until you get into our business, like, and you see these areas where you can, and yeah, they're not hugely valuable properties, but I can make like on $100, that's like 10, 15x I can make on those. I mean, or if I wholesale them, it's 4 or 5x. You know, there's a lot of money there. So you don't have to have. I bought properties $200-300 when I started, $300-400, and almost double my money. But you know what? You know, look now, saying it doesn't sound like a lot because we used to, but really $300, and now I sell for $6. I made $300, and I can do it again, and I can do it again, and I can do it again, and you know, it adds up over time, and then you can move up in your purchase price.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you guys ever been stuck with a piece of property? You ever bought a piece of property, you're like, no one's buying it, I can't sell it. I'm just gonna let it go for taxes.
So I had one property once that I made a mistake. I wasn't careful enough in my due diligence. It was in a subdivision where I had purchased property previously. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, these subdivisions, as Mike Zano says, they're very cookie cutter. And you would think that the one parcel here would be exactly the same as the one here. I kind of assumed that. And it turns out that the one parcel here had terrible road access compared to the other parcel. And it was a big slab of rock instead of, a piece of land that you could build a home on. So I knew I was kind of in trouble with it. I thought I might have a hard time selling it. I think I was a newbie though. So I think if I was going to do it all over again, I would probably had a little bit more faith that it would sell. But all I did, Mark, was I rolled it into another deal. I used it as a marketing tool, and I said, buy this property, get this one free. And I rolled it into that deal, and I didn't lose any money on it. I made a little bit of money on it, not a ton. I think if I had to do it all over again, like I said, I'd have a little bit better mindset about it. But no, I've never, other than that one, and I had one with a title issue that I'm working through right now. But other than those, I have not been stuck with a piece of property. And even ones that I never thought I'd be able to ever sell, like a 0.23 acre property when I was first starting out. But I turned around and sold it. And I haven't been stuck with any.
Yeah, it's so funny because I don't think most people realize what a lust for land there is in this country. Oftentimes I'll get people asking me, like on podcasts, well, who's buying this land from you guys? This raw, inexpensive land. I'm like, people are buying it. Zen Master, you ever been stuck with a piece of property?
All right, sorry about that.
Stop?
Yeah. Like you can't sit in audio to you. Now I'm frozen. You can't issue.
Yeah, because we're all frozen on the screen. Well, it's probably me can issue. Broadcast interrupted. You want me to try on my end?
I mean, I don't think it's I've got really good.
Yeah.
It might just be. We've got 3 people on my line. I'm frozen, but I don't think it's just we're back. This gives we're back. I'm frozen. You guys don't see me moving, right?
Yes, we can hear you. Are we moving?
Yeah, you guys are good.
Are we live?
We're live.
So I don't think they heard you.
Zeno, you and I are not moving on the live feed though. All 3 of us are frozen on the live feed.
But they can hear us.
So they can hear us. That's crazy.
As long as they can hear us, I guess it's just kind of like. I hope I'm frozen in a good pose. Can you fix that? Jeez.
Yeah, I don't think my pose is so good. All right, should we just end this thing? Someone has a fuzzy audio. Mark is frozen. Basically, all right.
Now we're Okay, now you can see me and Zano. Mark, you're frozen.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're back, except for you. Mark, you have a very nice pose right now.
Yeah, it's not a bad
So-
pose if you want to hold that.
I guess I'll hold it.
Jen Ramquist is watching. Jen, can you hear Mark? See what she says.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark.
Jen Ramquist, can you hear me? Jen Ramquist, how are you?
You know, it looks good on. If you look at it on Facebook, Mark, we're frozen again, Scott. No, we're not. Maybe we are. But Mark, you look good. It's a good pose. It's not like you're caught in an awkward moment.
All right. No worries. So, you know what? I can just drink. I'm going to just like pounding alcohol.
I think
Go
you left
crazy.
off with you were saying how many deals you did, but nobody heard the number, and you were going to say if you got stuck with any. That's kind of where we left off.
Right, yes. So, yeah, I've done over 5,500 deals now. I've never been stuck with a deal. I tell all these crazy stories at boot camp. But Matthew Levy says, I have Scott and Mike meeting on YouTube. Facebook feed is frozen/play. So,
Huh.
weird. Actually, I don't have anything. Let's see if I got okay, I closed out the browser. You know what it is? I'm going to like Skype.
Skype's, yeah. Matt Forbes, he just despises Skype.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but static is very loud. Mr. Love says. Matthew Levy says, I restarted the Facebook feed. Now matches YouTube feed. And then I just
Okay.
can I, if I drop off, now it's YouTube. So I can just be on.
All right.
Let me see if maybe, yeah. See if I'm still crazy. You guys have any questions for the two animate people on the? Oh, Teresa says it's fuzzy sign.
Huh.
Let us know. Should we just stop this, you guys?
You can stop it. That's all good.
Alright, well, good to see you guys. Thanks everybody
It's a
for
nice happy hour.
being on.
It's a happy hour.
Good happy hour. Sorry we technical difficulties. Hope everyone stayed safe out there. And can you do it, you guys? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let freedom
Freedom
ring.
ring.
Wow, that's pretty good with 3 people. Wow.
Yeah.
And watch your
You know what? One last thing. I'm really surprised during this entire live feed that we didn't even mention Tiger King.
I think we need to devote an entire Facebook Live to that. I think next week on the podcast, we're going to have to talk Tiger King.
She didn't do it.
Mike, I disagree. She definitely
I disagree as well.
He was like in fear for his life. He's writing it down. He's telling his friends.
She put in the trust documents in case of disappearance. That,
They were working together in cahoots.
let's devote the entire next one to that show.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to go watch Tiger King.
Go watch Tiger King as soon as you can, so we can all discuss it, and then debate the Zano theory and my theory. It's kind of
Awesome.
all right, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Mark.
Mark.